In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how I went from 30% body fat to 12%, holding on to all my muscle, and built a physique that I'm proud of.
I sucked up the pain and I kept going. Whole world know my name, bitch, my rep strong. We sold out and left.
No guesswork, no shortcuts, no endless cardio or crash diets.
I sin so I can't cast.
Tell me, when was the last time you looked in the mirror and were actually proud of what you saw? Not just, yeah, I lift proud, but I look like I trained, I love the way I look proud. If that hasn't happened yet, stay with me. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact 6-step strategy I used to get lean while building muscle and get in the best shape of my life to date. Now, I'm not a genetic freak, far from it. I'm a regular dude, 20 years old, uni student. I had to take some time off to deal with some health issues, autoimmunity, heavy metal toxicity, gut problems, inflammation. I was nowhere near where I wanted to be. But I had the knowledge, dialed in my training, my nutrition, my recovery, and in just 5 months, I dropped from 30% body fat to 12% body fat, while holding on to all my muscle and even building some in the process. And now, I've got a physique I'm pretty proud of. Don't get me wrong, I got a lot of work ahead to get to where I envision myself, but I'm miles ahead of where I was and happy with the progress I've made and will continue to make. And that's what I want for you. No more hiding under oversized tees, no more training without looking like you do, no more feeling stuck. This summer you should be the one turning heads, not asking how others did it. Step 1, assess where you're at. Going from 30% body fat to 12% body fat effectively starts with a clear, realistic time frame. Understanding your current body composition and how lean you want to get is crucial, as it determines the structure of your diet and training. If you're aiming for single-digit body fat, most of the time, you'll need an approach involving 2 main phases of fat loss, separated by a 2 to 4 week period at maintenance, which is my favorite approach for myself and clients who are looking to lose a pretty substantial amount of body fat. Not only because this strategy prevents diet fatigue and hormonal downregulation, but also makes the process much more sustainable and enjoyable as a whole. Step 2, what do you do with your nutrition? When it comes to my nutrition, we have to rewind a few months before I even started my diet. I spent a good 2 to 3 months working my calories up very slowly to give myself a higher caloric set point to then diet from. This gave me more calories to eat and less expenditure to do to create my deficit, but also because I started on higher food, I could finish my diet on higher food. This is important not only for managing hunger, but also fatigue, your recovery capacity, and the actual amount of fuel, primarily carbohydrates, to fuel your training so you're able to hold on to all your hard-earned muscle, if not build some. So to create the deficit, all I did was reduce my caloric intake where my weight was maintaining by 20%. At the same time, increasing my step goal from 7 to 8,000 per day to 8 to 9,000 per day to drive the deficit or energy balance equation from both sides, nutrition and expenditure. Step 3, training for muscle retention. Now, the way I train during my fat loss phase is exactly how I would train when I'm looking to build muscle, with a few tweaks. It's important that training during a fat loss phase is carefully managed to maximize the goal of muscle retention. The focus should be on maintaining as much strength as possible. So, logging my lifts each week and at least trying to match what I got the week before, which is a win because as body weight comes down, your strength will naturally come down as well because you've less stability. Then, based on your training performance, you can adjust your volume when you need to. So if you're able to match or progress your numbers every workout, you're chilling. But let's say those numbers start to dip. That's a good sign that you're not recovering or fatigue is creeping up, and you should either deload, take 4 days out of the gym, or reduce the amount of total sets you're doing to avoid overtraining. Also, as body fat comes down, the risk of injury can come up due to lower energy reserves and the loss of protective body fat. This is when it becomes imperative to focus on exercise selection that maximizes muscle tension while minimizing injury risk and systemic overall fatigue. So we're not necessarily going to get a great ROI from free weight exercises like the squat, bench, and deadlift. So I like switching most exercises to ones that give us external bracing so we can maximize tension on the intended muscle group we're trying to train. Step 4, implementing diet breaks and refeeds strategically. Now, as I dieted and weight started to plateau, maybe because I was feeling more fatigued, NEAT started to come down, which is completely normal, I implemented diet breaks, which involved temporarily increasing caloric intake to maintenance, which helps to reset metabolic rate as well as reduce psychological stress that will naturally come into play the longer you diet. Typically, after every 6 to 8 weeks of dieting, a 1 to 2 week diet break, depending on your time frame, can have great benefit. And this is the first diet where I really utilize these instead of just lowering food, doing more expenditure, because it will also help the body's hormonal balance, like thyroid function, which will naturally downregulate. It'll improve satiety hormones. And of course, the most underrated benefit, in my opinion, is the refresher you get mentally. Step 5, incremental adjustments. Now, every time you stall or plateau, it may not warrant a diet break or refeed, even though they're fantastic. Instead, adapting the diet and expenditure based on weekly feedback is crucial. If fat loss stalls and you're feeling good, make an adjustment. further increase the deficit by reducing your caloric intake by a small percentage. I like around 10%, or increasing your physical activity, your expenditure by 1 to 2,000 steps. Now, this was also not only my most efficient diet, the leanest I ever got, but I also did zero cardio the whole time. The only tool I used to drive the deficit from the expenditure side was my daily step goal, which by the end the highest it got was 14 to 15K per day, which I'd honestly take any day over crazy cardio during a diet because of the potential hit excessive cardio can have on training performance. And then when training performance takes a hit, muscle retention becomes that much more difficult. Step 6, I utilized some more advanced strategies and most importantly prioritized my recovery. Now, as we get in the later stages of fat loss, say you're getting closer to that 12%, especially when targeting more stubborn fat areas, incorporating strategies like fasted cardio alongside supplements such as L-carnitine to improve the transport of fatty acids into the mitochondria to then be oxidized or burned, as well as yohimbine or rarulsine to help mobilize fatty acids from those more stubborn areas, can definitely be beneficial around this time, and something I like to incorporate towards the end when you're getting closer to that 10% mark, especially if it's your first time losing that body fat. Now, arguably the most important thing to prioritize is recovery. Train hard, but recover harder. More specifically, sleep like it is your job. The quality and duration of your sleep directly impacts how much body fat you will lose and how much muscle you will retain. So at a very simple baseline, doing things like getting a pre-bed routine in place and optimizing sleep environment, making it cool around 18 degrees or 65 Fahrenheit, quiet and dark, basically a bat cave, will contribute to much better quality sleep and will improve your recovery and of course have a massive positive effect on your fat loss. And not only fat loss itself, but hunger, satiety, and of course your training. So if you implement the step goal, if you implement training for muscle retention, if you implement new nutrition and you start all that at once, I promise you, turning those dials, you're going to see a very, very fast return from your effort. Whenever I have clients come on board with me, we onboard them, we enroll them. Within week 1, things are looking pretty good. Within weeks 2, 3, 4, the transformation is just so fast because you're going from a place of close to zero structure in some cases to complete structure, or at least a lot more structure than you had before, which is just a novel stimulus in itself. But the bang for your buck and the results that you can achieve are exponentially wild. So go ahead and start implementing those 6 things and you are going to get absolutely shredded, however lean you want to get. If you want more content like this, subscribe below, comment, let me know if I can help you. If you want 30 days of completely free transformation tips, free training plans, a calorie calculator, supplement guide, sleep guide, delivered straight to your inbox every day for the next 30 days, completely free, then click the first link in the description. If you're interested in more in-depth videos on how to transform your physique, health, and performance, you can also check out my podcast, which is linked in the description as well. Peace.